is the color which means stop. Red means danger. You should mentally see red whenever you pick up anything that cuts. Without crossing the red line, can you cut yourself? It can't be done. Keep this in mind when you hand a tool to somebody else. Keep it in mind when you pick up a tool. All tools must be kept in safe condition. A file without a handle is a hazard. Make sure the file you use has a handle. Don't take chances. It's important to keep tools sharp. A sharp tool does better work. It's also safer to work with. Know how to treat tools correctly, how to handle them safely, and how to maintain them properly. It doesn't take long to sharpen a chisel. A worn-out screwdriver can be filed and reshaped into a good and safe tool. You can rely on sharp tools. A dull center punch has to be repointed to become a safe tool. A sharp point not only means an accurate punch, but it also means the only safe way to start the drill. The correct tool is safe. A dull point means danger. To keep tools safe, treat them well. Every tool should have its proper place, its safe place. Safe storage is part of maintenance. Carry tools correctly. Carry them safely. The saw is the common cutting tool. Here too, the safe way to use it is the correct way. The danger of getting cut or slipping is greatest if you're getting impatient. Be sure you're using the correct type of blade for the work. To start, use your thumb as a guide. As soon as the cut is started, move your guiding hand away from the blade. Don't push or force the cut too hard. Ease up on the final strokes. This applies to any cutting operation. The work should be supported and secured firmly. Keep your thumb high, just touching the blade to start the cut. Remove this hand as soon as the cut is established. Be sure the saw blade is sharp and not worn. For larger and more solid stock, use a coarse-toothed blade. Never apply too much force. Save yourself bruised knuckles and cut fingers. Do your work safely. Make sure the chisel you select for the job is sharp, is safe. Store chisels in a safe place to protect you and to protect the tool. A dull chisel requires more effort. It slips easier and offers a greater chance of injury. Test the blade on a piece of scrap, never with your fingers. When using a mallet, chips might fly. But when chipping, be sure to wear goggles and be sure nobody around you could get hurt. Before you start, make sure the head of the chisel is free of burrs and hammer and chisel are clean and oil-free. The sharp cutting edge is the safe one. A dull cold chisel and a burred head require the grinder. A burred head on the cold chisel will not only reduce your control of the chisel, but might also chip. Those flying chips could cause injury to yourself as well as to others working around you. It only takes minutes to grind off the burr. Know what you are doing and how to do it safely. If your thumb is used as a guide, don't let that thumb get ahead of the chisel. You have a great selection of tools to work with. Each tool, like this Allen wrench, is an instrument with a specific purpose. The correct size will not slip, will work properly. Screwdrivers come in various types and different sizes. Only the right one will do the job safely. Don't use screwdrivers as chisels, jimmies, or levers. Misuse damages the tip and shank. A damaged tool is not safe. For a safe job, use a clean, trim tip. A damaged tip will damage the screw, the work, or your fingers. Use the right-sized screwdriver, and you'll avoid damage to the screw and possible injury to yourself. Wrenches should be clean and in good condition. A worn or oily wrench can slip too easily. The right wrench used properly, used safely, ensures that your work is done well and that you'll avoid bruised knuckles or other injuries. Use a vise to support the work firmly so it will not shift as you are working. Be sure the vise is tight or you'll stand the chance of injury. Work safely and think of safety when you leave the bench. When a vise is not in use, leave it tight, minus half a turn. This way, if someone bumps into a vise handle, it will give a little and not bruise him. Play it safe when you set up, and leave it clean when you finish a job. Keep the shop a safe place to work in. Sharp edges can cut like knives. Sheet metal has to be treated with respect. Those points can pierce an ordinary shoe. When handling sheet metal, watch out for those around you. Wear gloves whenever possible to protect your hands. Most shears have guards. Still, keep hands back from the blade. Don't get 1 foot under the treadle. Folding requires careful lining up. Don't forget your fingers. Gloves might be too awkward for handling smaller work, but small edges and small corners are just as sharp as big ones. Be extra careful. Do your friends a favor. Don't talk to them when they're working. Edges are like knives, so protect your hands and use vice grips so nothing can slip. Sheet metal is heavy. Solid shoes on a non-slip mat and the best protection you can find for your hands are important for your safety and also important for the job. Respect the safety zone around the machines. Never interfere when someone is working for his and your protection. Concentration is part of protection, and tidiness is an important part of safety. Make it a habit to clear your working area occasionally, even if your job is not finished. Use a brush or broom and not your hands. Always play it safe. A flame or heat employed safely is essential for many of your projects. Don't light up with a match. Know what you are doing, whether you're using a forge or a welding torch. The exhaust fan should be running before lighting up any flame. Dress protectively, heat-shielding apron, gloves, and goggles. The anvil should be close to the forge. Don't endanger those around you. Before starting to work, be absolutely sure that there is no material near that could mean danger of fire from flame, sparks, or hot slag. There are many hazards in this area. The air should be kept circulating. Know all safety-approved standards and rules. Know about all possible mishaps that could arise when acetylene and oxygen are mixed. Don't work with oily or greasy hands or gloves. Grease and oil anywhere are easily ignited and in the presence of oxygen burn fiercely. Check that valves are closed. Lay out enough hose and carefully to avoid kinking and strain on the regulators. Check that all valves read 0 before you open a cylinder valve. Always start with acetylene. 15 psi G is the maximum pressure. Light the torch immediately to avoid free gas in the shop. To light the forge, use a small torch already lit. Then open the valve and light immediately. Remember that danger is always present, but that safe handling of tools will keep it under control, even when, for accuracy, gloves could be a hindrance. A heat tray is one good way to keep hot metal out of the way. You wouldn't touch metal that looks hot, but when it turns black and doesn't show the heat it contains, it's just as dangerous. Don't play with fire. Use it properly, safely.